saying, long day learning names, good day hearing stories, and we're keen to hear some from the both of you as part of your experience here at WOMAD Adelaide. Welcome.
Okay, thank you very much. Hi, thanks for having us.
It's a treat to have a couple of people with so much experience with this festival, particularly, come here and able to maybe shed a little bit of light about, the journey, the origins, and as well as your own kind of personal experience playing festivals such as this.
Yeah, well, I first came here in 1995, and I think that one, from what I hear, it's sort of remembered as a classic edition of the festival, because Fateh Ali Khan played a really incredible set, and some other real, the great thing about that moment of in history was there's a moment where these festivals of music from all around the world were just starting up, and it was a moment where some of the greatest musicians from their respective countries were coming out and touring the world for the first time. So you had these it's like, the best way to describe it is you had the equivalent of Elvis, Frank Sinatra, Bob Dylan were coming out and touring, people who were not just, guys in bands or girls in bands just starting up and they've got their new album out. These were like figures.
Established artists
they were
in their country.
More than established artists, they were like figureheads, leaders of the name. Thomas Matfumo, Youssef N'Dour, who's playing actually this weekend, Salif Keita. These people were like people who had broken through in the way that Elvis and Dylan or the Beatles broke through. It's like Beyonce, literally it was like people of that level in their respective countries were going international for the first time. So that was incredible, exciting time to be at festivals.
So do you recall how many stages were present at WOMAD Adelaide the first time?
In a word, no.
But
if you were there, you can't remember.
Well, let's just say, is it much larger today?
Yeah, it's bigger, and there's a lot of people here. I mean, it's incredible. I can't say. Apparently, it's sold out, but so it's lovely to see it so popular and such a big event.
Yeah, and we've also had a lot of people from interstate come down to Adelaide for this event, but obviously a lot of international artists. So where are you guys from? From Europe, yeah?
Well, I'm from the UK, and Mauro here is from southern Italy, so he'll tell you about that.
Yeah, also for me it's my third participation to WOMAD Adelaide. I have to say I just love it. It's one of my favorite festivals all over the world. And I've been here in 2015 and 2019 with my own band, Canzoniere Grecanico Salentino. And I have this, luxury to be back with the duo with Justin Adams, and it feels great. This morning we had the first workshop. It was such a beautiful way to start the day and to start our debut in Australia, because this is our first concert ever in Australia. So we're really loving it, and there is a unique vibe all over the WOMADs in the world. But Adelaide here is really, really particular with the setting, which is there is a city park, and the atmosphere is always relaxed. People are just enjoying themselves so much that you can be part of their celebration, and not only being an artist making a concert, a performer, but actually you're part of something, of a more of a shared experience.
Yep. So it's easy to be immersed in the vibe, in the culture. Obviously doing workshops helps as well. Because I was going to ask, how does WOMAD Adelaide compare to other world music festivals around the world? But you're saying it's one of your favourites?
Yeah, it's one of. The setting is so great, isn't it? And the scale of it, so both of those make it really special.
How did the two of you meet and start collaborating and working together?
Well, in 2010, I was the assistant, the right hand of the director Ludovico Einaudi, the Italian pianist and composer, in a festival which is held in my area called La Notte della Taranta, which is dedicated to, the music from a region. And so every year they call, artistic director to give his own take or her own take on actually my traditional music and dance. That year was Ludovico's turn. I was his assistant, and we decided to invite Justin as one of the guests for that edition. And that's how we met. And the first thing we did when we met, even before actually talking, was basically sitting down and do some jam sessions, play music together. And we haven't stopped since then, basically. We stayed in touch throughout the years, and then we decided, why don't we try and make something ourselves, something new, the two of us, and here we are.
What would you say are some of the key parts and both of the music that you both like to play that merge really well and meet? Like, were there some early kind of points where you went, this is a style of music I like, or a way of playing, or any kind of combination of these things?
I think what it is that Mauro's music is based in this ancient music from southern Italy, Taranta music, and from where it is, the southern Italy, centre of the Mediterranean, you can feel the connections with Greece, with North Africa, with the Arab world, and the fact that his music was originally a trance healing music, so it literally was used by communities to heal people. And in Africa you find the same kind of thing, and it's the more I've researched the origins of blues, which is the origins of rock and roll. I mean, basically, I'm a rock and roll guitarist. I like getting an electric guitar and blasting it out. That's what I do. But I've looked into the origins of that, and I find it's not something that was invented from nothing in the 1950s. The roots of that come from Africa, and the roots and the Arab world, even Central Asia, and it's to do with using music as a healing, cathartic, transcendent force, using rhythms and this heavy, trancey vibe, and so that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, wonderful. I'm familiar with some of your works and collaborations with artists such as Tinariwen.
Okay.
One that always stands out to me just because I love that band.
Incredible band.
Yeah, they played here a few years ago. I remember. I think it was 2018 or so. Absolutely loved them.
Yeah. Well, I was very lucky. I sort of made contact with them around about 2000. And they hadn't recorded in the West, and because of war and famine and a lot of troubles, they hadn't had the opportunity to work outside of their home region. And so I went with a group of French recording engineers and artists, and we recorded their first album out in the Sahara Desert. And it was an amazing experience. Some serious guys, wonderful music, and some deep stuff that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a it seems like there's a rich tapestry of music that's been existing there in a traditional sense that you're now seeing been given, a platform. I think is an important thing that ties into what the festival does as well. And, we're seeing artists like we've got, Mdu Mokhtar playing at the festival tomorrow as well. And, it's that there's a good sound in a lot of those regional African countries. And
but actually, I mean, just to say, Tinariwen were not a traditional group. They were innovators who brought electric guitar. So the roots are in really deep traditional music, but they were also innovators that brought the electric guitar, and they were really keen to travel and bring their message out.
Yeah. How is it as an experience when you make a friendship, a collaboration, a partnership such as the two of you have, or with working with other artists? How do you know when you're going to be able to get something out of it, or whether you're just going to remain friends, or just have it as an experience that you've had? What's the is there a moment in the process that you know what's happening?
I mean, you feel it. There is some. First thing is like the human connection, and then you have to fall in love with their music. And when those two things basically happen at the same time, there is the human connection, and you're basically a fan of the other person or people, then it works. Then music is a way to actually transcend any kind of border, linguistic or any cultural, and so you find a way to communicate, to go in dialogue, and it's easy.
With a lot of experience under your belts, do you still get nervous?
Yes.
When you're meeting up.
Yeah. I mean, different things can make you nervous, And so a regular gig, if we've done loads and the conditions are fine, then I don't get nervous. But the kind of thing that makes me nervous, I'll tell you what, the worst for nerves that I've ever done. Do you know Sinead O'Connor? Do you know who I mean?
Yeah.
By Sinead
Yes.
O'Connor?
Yep.
Okay, so when I used to work with her, and when I first went to, we rehearsed because she was nervous. and we rehearsed for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I was really excited of playing with this incredible, iconic singer, you know. And the first thing we had to do was go and play on what was it called, the David Letterman show, which was like the biggest chat show in America with like something like 6 million viewers or more, you know, 60 million viewers, I don't know. And we had to go and do a live show, and we waited around in this tiny dressing room in Manhattan for like 8 hours, having done the rehearsal in the morning. And then finally you go into the TV studios, and somebody had to, suddenly there's David Letterman and there's all the audience, and the guy points at me like that, and I've got to get my acoustic guitar and play this little delicate. And I tell you, my hand was like, I can't do it. I was so stressed, you know, because so yeah, that kind of thing still stresses me out.
Yeah, that sounds like such a wonderful experience, and I feel like probably going in, she has such a good reputation for, you know, an intensity in a lot of her live music. You know, how did you two break that down? You know,
what, with
how
Sinead?
did you get caught up in it together? I suppose, yeah.
With Sinead, well, you know, it was just a gig, but I mean, again, everything with me is just led by. It's more about the passion and, you know, the soul of the music than anything else, really. That's what it's about.
Yeah, wonderful.
And you are fortunate enough to be appearing a few times here at WOMAD. Obviously, you played today. You did the workshop at the Zoo Stage. You'll be performing tonight at 7:45 at Moreton Bay Stage, and also another appearance tomorrow at the Zoo Stage at 5:30. So for any listeners who haven't yet made it to WOMAD and are coming in tomorrow, be sure to check out Justin Adams and Mauro Durante.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking your time.
Thank you.
As has been the case with some of our interviews, we've got to let you run off, get on the stage, do the good things you do, but we really appreciate you taking the time to come down to speak with us.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.